Will Jackie Aces return tonight for VGK with the division and the conference titles on the line?
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. You could find us on Twitter, of course, at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris G, at Locked On VGK, Locked On Golden Knights on YouTube. Please subscribe. So, Chris, it's game number 82, all the marbles, and this one has a lot on the line. The Golden Knights needing just 1 point coming into the game. VGK with the win, play into overtime, what have you. They will win the Western Conference. They will own the division tonight when they skate in Seattle. And yesterday, Jack Eichel appeared on the Pat McAfee show. We don't know where he got this nickname from, but I think it's going to stick, Jackie Aces. He refers to Eichel as Jackie Aces. And at the end of the McAfee show, we heard Pat McAfee say that he would donate $100,000 to Eichel's favorite charity for a hat trick to finish out the season. And Eichel's response, I think he kind of gave us a little tip. He tipped us off, if you will. His response, I'm going to be shooting at everything tomorrow night, which is tonight. And that will be a big boost if he returns to the lineup. So Eichel and Shea Theodore possibly in the lineup tonight.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of positivity about the game, and it was interesting watching Jack Eichel. You got to figure someone like Pat McAfee would certainly get him to come out of his shell a little bit, and it took a minute, but it didn't take too long for Jack to be kind of relaxed, and it's good. I mean, it's good to see a different side of him, that relaxed side, the side that we as media don't necessarily get to see from him. So it was a good time. I just don't understand why these guys got to swear every other word, like him and the Spittin' Chicklets guys. Like every other word is an F-bomb, and it's like they do it because there's a microphone on, and I guess it gets a reaction. I don't know. I mean, I talk like that to my friends, full disclosure, and I got a terrible mouth, but when we're here, like this isn't the place for it. I don't know, but it was fun. And I think if I listened to what McAfee said, I think he gave him the 100K bounty for any hat trick, including the playoffs and stuff. So I mean,
playoffs. So
it doesn't have to be tonight necessarily, but if he wants to get it tonight and get it off the board, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, but we know that Eichel has missed the last couple of games. And then after the McAfee show, he appeared on the ice. So he was skating and practicing. And then they said he would be on the trip. And of course, in a big game like tonight's, I think he will be playing. He'll be starting tonight in that lineup. And that'll be a big boost for VGK.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to be out there for two reasons. One, he's been injured and such, and it'll be good to have him to get a game under his belt before the playoffs come. Not that he was out nearly as long as his last injury stint when he missed like 10 or 12 games or something like that. But the concern wasn't the time that he missed. It was the time afterwards when he was in the lineup, barely contributing. I'm not knocking him, I'm simply saying his injury lingered and it took him a little while to get back up to game speed. So hopefully tonight he gets some good looks and he has a good game tonight, but hopefully getting on the ice tonight helps him hit the ground running come playoff time, because that's obviously when it's going to matter a little bit more than tonight.
So it's nice of Eichel to tip everyone off for the fact that he's going to be playing in the game tonight. This was also supposed to be a surprise, but VGK's communications department tweeted out that he would be on the McAfee show in advance to that. So there was supposed to be a surprise on his show, and I'm glad that they did tweet it out, because then I had an opportunity to watch the entire interview. So that was cool. Eichel saying that he wants to spend the rest of his career here. Seems as though he's adapted very well to the Las Vegas area. He talked about guilty games. That was pretty funny.
That was interesting.
So Pac-Man Jones asked about the Vegas flu. Is that a real thing? And then Eichel just goes into, a lot of these teams, they come here, they spend some time. They're here for a few days too many. When they show up on the ice, they play with a guilty demeanor, if you will. They're trying extra hard to hide the fact that they're hungover, basically, on the ice. and it probably smelled awful with beer seeping out of the pores. You got to be able to tell if someone's still boozed up here in Vegas.
There's a few stories from the first couple of seasons that if you dig, you can unearth. Back when Torts was coaching the Columbus Blue Jackets, he actually told the guys, you don't need to drink carrot juice and stuff for every meal. Go out in Vegas and let's have some fun. Let's blow off some steam. And obviously the Blue Jackets probably weren't having the greatest of seasons then. So, it's good to come here and let loose and unwind, where other teams have stayed far away from the Strip as far as Red Rock before and not gone anywhere near the Strip and everything in between. And, there's stories about, teams and the clubs and stuff like that. I heard something about the Florida Panthers when I think it was season 1. They just had that couple of days, like Jack Eichel alluded to, and, run up a 5-figure tab. I think at what's the Haskacon. There you go. Whatever. I'm not a club guy. I'm sorry. I'm not a club guy. Right across the street from T-Mobile over there. So they were probably staying at Aria or staying at New York. Well, not probably Aria, or even Park MGM is a lot nicer than it used to be. So, a short little walk, boys, go have some fun. And, it's the scene from Slapshot. If anyone checks me into the boards, I'm gonna piss my pants. There you go. That's you wonder if there's a real life version of that. Not that we need to see it, but wouldn't surprise me if there was something similar.
I thought that the Vegas flu was something from the past. I didn't think that this was still happening here, and there was more of a professional look by these teams. But
Vegas
guess
is Vegas,
so
and that's never going to change. And
They're
humans
still
are
partying
humans,
it up.
and 20-something, young 20-somethings with a 7-figure paycheck. It's a recipe for disaster. Call it what it is. And knock on wood. In a serious note, you haven't heard anything terribly outlandish from the hockey players. And I'll make sure I put this the right way. We've seen some more notable stories with the Raiders. Not so good stories, obviously. Knock on wood, we haven't seen a lot of that from the VGK or the visiting teams when they do come here. Player coming here, getting arrested, doing something stupid and stuff like that. So knock on wood, the NHL, it's working in Vegas from that regard. I'm sure that was something that a lot of people were nervous about. Sure, people are going to the clubs and spending money and, doing some things they probably shouldn't be doing, but they're keeping it in a semi-legal environment without going out and, racking up DUIs and stuff like that.
And don't forget about Ovi's good run at STK. Of course, that was legendary. Ovechkin.
I just remember watching him carry the cup right across the MGM lobby. Like, yeah, I'm in Vegas. I'm in your house. I'm going to go party in your club. I won the cup in your house. I loved it. I mean,
it was.
If it was anyone besides Ovi, I don't think I would have enjoyed watching the celebration and all that. But you got to just appreciate Ovi and the fact that we got to see. The fact that I personally got to witness the Stanley Cup walk off T-Mobile ice in my first year as being a VGK fan is pretty special.
Okay, some other news from the VGK skate yesterday. Logan Thompson, according to Bruce Cassidy, he suffered a setback with his injury, didn't respond as well as Aiden Hill. And so he's been left behind here in Vegas.
Groin. I mean, it's groin, hammy, something like that. It definitely has to be something along those lines. And, we're far from doctors. We don't even pretend to be one on TV, but it doesn't take a specialist to know that those injuries can take days, they can take weeks, or they can take months. And a goaltender who, spends a lot of the game simply standing still. And then there's those moments when they get those shots and they go down fast, they get up fast. And then, it's kind of the same thing as baseball, right? Baseball players, there's moments where, they're not doing a whole lot and then boom, they go full speed. Goalies, that can happen where the puck comes in the zone. They're ready, they're alert, they're watching. But, if there's not a shot attempt or if it's a high shot, they don't got to move a whole lot. And then the first time you go down and go into a full stretch, you just never know how your body's going to react. And, now you compound that with one injury, at least with it, which is what kept him out for a long time, going back to post All-Star break and then re-aggravating it. And then now he's not responding as well. So, this could be injury on top of injury on top of injury. And he might need something more serious to fix this, but they're hoping maybe he can weather the storm, so to speak, through the playoffs, which I don't think it's going to happen, which is terribly unfortunate. This team definitely needs a healthy Logan Thompson. Not that we don't trust Brossa and what he's doing, but it'd be nice to have that option. And again, Aiden Hill, I think, is going to become an option. And Jonathan Quick is there. I mean, I'm assuming Quick is probably still backing up tonight the way it's been going, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hill did put the pads on as the backup. We don't know. But it would be nice to have at least one more healthy goalie coming into the playoffs. I guess that's the long story longer, what I'm trying to say.
And Jack Eichel also spoke about Mark Stone, who was back on the ice yesterday, took that one day off. So I guess he's responded pretty
McAfee
well.
was trying to dig around a little bit there. I liked it. And
I liked it. I know he was trying to get us some good
like,
dirt.
he's not a hockey guy, you could tell, but he's an interview guy, and he knows what buttons to press. And he said,
well
so
prepared.
Mark Stone's coming back soon, right? And he's like tapping the stick and stuff like that. And Jack Eichel, you could tell, in the short term, hopefully he'll be back. Mark is coming back soon. Stone is coming back soon. Whether it's game 1 or game 2, we could split hairs about that. But my original line was series 2, game 1, 2.1. No, it's going to be sooner than that. He will play half or greater of the first series, Mark Stone. There you go. There's a new line. The new line.
And again, Eichel said that Stone coming back means so much for this team, both on and off the ice. And so hopefully that happens pretty soon.
On the bench, that intensity. How many times Cassie talked about that in the pressers?
They were missing that a ton. Coming up next, we'll talk about the rematch between VGK and the Kraken. We talk more about tonight's game when we return with a lot at stake right after this on Locked On Golden Knights. Looking for a delicious snack, but you don't want all of the sugar and calories? Well, then you got to be going for the best tasting protein bar ever that's built. You got to try this. It's built. And if you are like me and Chris, you want to make healthier snack choices, but you don't want to compromise your taste. So I've just got the right thing for you. It's built bars and built puffs. Built bars are healthy. They're definitely amazing. They taste so good, and we think that they're good for you. You got to try this. What makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real dark chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. It tastes so good. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and cookies and cream. And we're not sure how Built does it, but they seem to do it consistently while they maintain all the amazing macros. And what's even better is that they are healthy, only 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait to get that box of Built Bars, right? For years, we've been talking about ordering Built Bars at Built.com, but now you can get them at your local Walmart and also at your local Sam's Club. And you can still go to Built.com. That's right, just head to your nearest Walmart today. You could walk over to the pharmacy. You could pick up and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, of double chocolate bars, or coconut puffs. They are so, so good. And if you are at Sam's Club, close to Sam's Club in your area, run and grab a 13-bar box with the hit flavors Brownie Batter Puff and Churro Puff, and you could thank us later. Or you can always go to Built.com. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. I'm in the Sunfield again. So one of the differences between Tuesday's game and tonight's matchup in Seattle, I think the Kraken will get, this is so corny, they're going to get their sea legs back. They're going to have some legs tonight in this game. Let's face it. They were just exhausted. I think a lot of things will be different. I think they're going to be playing a lot better, more physical. They quit checking from the second period on. Philip Grubauer should be back in net tonight. What other differences do you see coming into tonight's game?
Well, I mean, the meaning of the game is the difference for both teams. Vegas 1 point, and they clinched the West. Of course, the Pacific comes with that. No points means we need Edmonton to go to overtime or better, I guess, in our world. Basically 1 point or less from Edmonton, and then we'll keep. No. I mean, they're playing what? Edmonton has the Sharks tonight. The Sharks have a chance to help the Golden Knights by losing and strengthen their chase for Bedard.
Losing. San Jose is tank city. They just played last night against Calgary. Right. This game starts actually at 6:00, and the Edmonton Sharks game, and then VGK at 7:30.
Yeah, so I mean, we're going to have an idea of what's happening. Right. On the other side, the Ducks are taking on the Kings tonight. That game is noteworthy because if Seattle gets 2 points tonight, and let me check the tiebreaker before I say this. Yes, so if Seattle gets 2 points tonight, and the Kings don't get any points tonight, Then Seattle would go above the Los Angeles Kings and take the third spots in the Pacific. Now, the third spot in the Pacific is a matchup against either the Vegas Golden Knights or, in my opinion, much, much worse for anybody, the Edmonton Oilers. If I'm Seattle, I'm cool. I will happily take on the winner of the Central, most likely at this point going to be
Colorado.
Colorado's got 2 more games. Dallas has 1. Minnesota cannot get there. They only got 1 more game. So I would much rather take on Dallas or the defending Stanley Cup champion, as crazy as that sounds, the Colorado Avalanche, if I'm the Seattle Kraken, and then let some of the Pacific cannibalize itself, because the Pacific is the only division in hockey with 4 100-point teams. All of a sudden, the Pacific has quietly risen from the depths, so to speak, and becoming a very tough division. Is Seattle going to go out there and blow the game? Let's not get that far ahead of ourselves, but might they come out with not as much of a checking game, kind of like they did on Tuesday night? Might they just kind of go through the motions? Maybe. It could definitely happen. So, should we get a more energized Seattle team? Yes. Should they be, better rested? Yes. Is this a big game as far as simply moving up in the standings, ignoring who you might be playing? Absolutely. It's a big, big game. Seattle's got home ice. The line is 40 cents different. Right now, local houses have Vegas minus 125, whereas they were minus 165 a couple nights ago, getting Seattle on the back-to-back on the road, just a tough spot. And, the line is tough to read on this because we're getting Jack Eichel back for sure. Shea Theodore, I think, is still a question mark. I think Theodore was still a non-contact jersey yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. That doesn't mean he's not going to play today. That definitely does not mean that. He might just been one more day, take it easy, no one do anything stupid with him in the boards. If Shea Theodore and Jack Eichel are both back tonight, I think this line probably should be about 20 cents higher, 145. Not necessarily like it was in Vegas, because you have to give him somewhat of a boost, kind of like the NFL. You get 3 points for being at home in the NFL, right? So you get 20 cents for being at home in the NHL, I guess.
Well, that's surprising. That's a different line than I thought.
I just checked it this morning. Yeah, I literally just checked it while we were gabbing earlier.
135, 140-ish. And then, of course, we'll see some action and line movement after the Edmonton game, or 2/3 through that game, right before VGK starts tonight. Larry Brossa, he will not give up the net. His record is 6-0-3. He's not lost in regulation for the VGK. I've got a little theory, though, in the postseason about Larry Brossa. Remember over the summer, I was just blasting him because he got beat so much top shelf, so much last year. And I think Pete DeBoer shut him down before, I think he could have lasted a little bit longer, to be quite honest with you. And I think DeBoer had just had enough of him, to be honest, okay, from my observation. Here's my theory, though, about Larry Brossa in the playoffs. In a series, he will be exploited. We have a small sample size with Brossa, right, currently? And I think in the playoffs, I'm really concerned if he is that go-to guy each and every night, every game of this series consistently. I think the teams will find a lot of weaknesses within his game. And I think as it goes on, I think they're going to, I don't know. I'm just concerned about the fact that he's going to be the go-to guy.
So I think this is where you look at the coaching staff of the other team. Pete DeBoer is a very experienced coach, but I don't remember Pete DeBoer as a VGK coach being able to, Bill Belichick, he finds the strength of the other team, he takes it away and says, beat us with your other guys. So if they're going against Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, they try. It's hard, but they try and eliminate Pat Mahomes from having a big game and leave it to the running game, basically, to get it going. Pete DeBoer was not really that type of coach for the Vegas Golden Knights, where I felt like he could find the biggest weakness of the other team and exploit it. And, maybe Jared Bednar could be that coach for the Avalanche. I don't think the Seattle coach is that type of person. I definitely don't see the Jets having that type of a coaching staff. Minnesota Wild even. So, you think of the elite coaches right now, Montgomery in Boston, Cooper, of course, down in Tampa. Cassidy has, had an elite level season as a few other teams have, but I don't really look at teams being able to necessarily exploit that. Yes, it's a 7-game series, and I go back to watching the VGK play Marc-Andre Fleury in the Minnesota Wild a couple weeks ago. They were going everything high glove. They were firing at that glove, whether it was from the blue line, whether it was from the slot, whether it was from the circle. They were shooting high glove, and obviously that's our knock. You're the one that pointed that one out, so that's more your knock on Brossa, but it is something noteworthy as well. Can someone else exploit that in a 7-game series? I think we wait to see who the matchup's going to be, and we maybe dig into the coaching staff a little bit and see if they've had some type of history of stuff like that. So who knows? I mean, the farther they get in the playoffs, sure, anything is exploitable, not just high glove. It could be the system. It could be a lot of things. I mean, the way you beat the Vegas Golden Knights is by muddying up the neutral zone. That's the and then you have to wonder if they're willing to go and get dirty. That's been a knock on this team. Let's see what Seattle does tonight. Let's see if they try and test that. We usually have plenty of room to skate with Seattle, so I don't think that's going to happen. We'll just kind of wait and see. But this could be a good test, right? Because Vegas could still face Seattle in the first round. Let's see what adjustments, if any, keyword if any, are made from Tuesday to Thursday. VGK had plenty of room to skate. They had odd man rushes. They had high danger chances galore. What can Seattle do to change that? And I don't know. I honestly don't know if they're going to even try. I don't know if they want to try, to be completely transparent. If I'm Seattle, I'm cool. I don't want to win this game tonight. So
much intrigue there. VGK got off to that fast start. They skated very fast in the last game against Seattle a couple nights
ago.
Baby. They need to continue the forecheck, continue to do that well. And they cannot afford to have poor puck management, as we saw in the only goal. The only goal was the Riley Smith one off the turnover.
Yeah, and you don't say the only goal was the Riley Smith turnover too often. That might be the first time we've ever said that on this show in a year.
Very, very true. Very true. And line 2 again. Hopefully they could play the same way they played the other night. That's a lot of expectations. Little Chris in the house, and
hey,
what up, little Chris? What up, little
Tony
Chris?
Says what up.
And tell him that we saw him go viral the other day. It was awesome.
Tony says we saw your tweet go viral the other day with you and Allie yelling "Go Knights, go!"
Thousands of people.
My sister's getting a louder voice than me, and it's stressful.
Sister's getting a louder voice, and it's stressful. He said
it is stressful. Get used to that, bro.
Get used to that, bro.
VGK 7-1 against the Kraken, right? Historically, so. We'll see how that one shakes out tonight. Coming up next, we'll have our locks of the night and our predictions for tonight's game. Don't go away. Back with more after this on Locked On Golden Knights.
Okay. So stay here.
Buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful. Of course, his younger sister is stressful. She needs that inside voice. Buying tickets should not be as stressful. So Game Time is the way to go. It's easy to buy tickets for all sports, for music, for comedy, although you get comedy for free here, and for theater near you. They've got killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, and you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the game or the event that you want to see. So browse through Game Time through the app and talk about upcoming events in your area. Of course, we can talk about concerts and playoff games coming up and some of the things that we like about the Game Time app experience. They've got flash deals on last-minute ticket sales, easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. And, of course, you get the images of your seats, which is so important, so you know where you're going to be seating inside the arena or venue. So Game Time's the place to go for the last-minute ticket deals. Forget about planning a month or months in advance. No one does that here in Vegas. Game Time has the deals or tickets right up into the day of the event. It's the fastest growing ticketed app in the country for a reason, because it's really good, it's solid, and tickets are sent directly to you, to your phone, so you never have to dig through your emails. So snag your tickets today without the stress with Game Time. Again, download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of your first purchase. Again, terms apply. Create an account, redeem the code with Locked On NHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back from Las Vegas. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. We come to you each and every day, your team every day, of course. and Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick, little Chris Golick here as well. And so it's that time. It's time for our predictions and our locks of the night.
Chris is going first.
Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, Chris. Before you say the score, what 2 Golden Knights do you think are going to have good games tonight and maybe score some goals? Give me 2.
Is Eichel playing?
Eichel is most likely playing. So give me Eichel and give me 2 more just in case.
Eichel. Is Theodore playing?
Theodore is a maybe as well. We'll see. So don't do Theodore.
Okay. Theodore, March or so.
March.
Howden.
Howden.
Wow.
Wow. That's
Howden?
There you go. That's like my Amadio pick right there.
Why,
right, Chris, what's the score tonight?
I have 2 score predictions.
You have 2 score predictions?
Yeah.
Okay.
One the Kraken wins.
What you got, buddy? Go ahead.
Is whoever Edmonton's playing, they're going to lose 5-2.
Whoever Edmonton's playing, they're going to lose 5-2, he just said. So Edmonton's going to win 5-2, I think I just heard.
Okay. And we're going to lose 5-2.
What?
Yeah, I like this guy.
He just said we're going to lose 5-2. Oh, my God. What? Oh, my goodness.
Go, Kraken, go.
Wow, I need to get you a DNA test. You might be Tony's kid.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Eichel and Pietrangelo, even though he picked Eichel.
They're the team. I have faith in them.
Oh my God, Eichel and Pietrangelo. Oh, good Lord! And what was your score, Tony?
4-3 Kraken. I think they'll have a much better showing. I think they'll actually show up
in overtime.
This will not be a guilty game. No, not in overtime. They'll win it in regulation.
You're predicting. You and Chris are both predicting Max Payne right now, huh?
Yes.
You're predicting a showdown with the Edmonton Oilers in the first round.
We know this team.
Let's have the Oilers lose in Vegas. What happens then?
If Oilers lose and Vegas lose, then that's good for Vegas.
Yeah, then Vegas still is good.
Vegas would take it all if Edmonton loses tonight.
Who are they going against?
San Jose, buddy. Yeah, you want to change your mind?
Look. Oh boy, he's gonna pass out. What about you, Chris?
See you later.
He's out.
All right. Thanks for the cameo, brother. He's growing up too fast, dude. Okay, so
and he's getting a little Starky too. Getting a little Starky. I kind of like it. He's kind of chirpy.
I like that. What are your predictions for tonight?
I mean, well, I'm only going to print Chris's, but I'll sticking with VGK getting up for big games. This is a big game. This is, probably the 4th time I've said it's the biggest game of the season, going back to when they played the Kings about a week and a half ago. So Vegas is getting up in big games. You're getting Eichel back. You're possibly getting Theodore back, which that's the biggest one, in my opinion, even bigger than Eichel. We'll find a way to get it done without Eichel if need be. But having Theodore back is a huge boost. I think if that does get leaked out, that line probably moves 10, 15 cents and might even move more depending on what the action is. So give me 3-1 Vegas. I think they'll play a tight defensive game. I don't think Seattle wants to win this game. Amadio had a good game, so I'll ride the Amadio train for one more game. And Dorofeev, he's been a little quiet these last couple of games. Dorofeev, I think, knows that a big game tonight cements his spot in the lineup because it's not locked in that he's going to be in the lineup. It's not locked in for any of those players on that kind of fringe level right now. So Dorofeev needs to leave the team with, that last impression. So
we have what's the line on the Edmonton game? Can you look that up for us real quickly? And
minus 14 million for Edmonton. All right, so we'll start with the Kings and the Ducks first. The Kings on the road minus 230, Anaheim plus 195. Fine, whatever. Oilers are at home too tonight. Good God, minus 500, Tony. Minus 500.
The other night, Pittsburgh, the Penguins were minus 600 against Chicago.
Oops.
Yeah, and they stunk it up. And now the Islanders are in the playoffs, and Pittsburgh, for the first time in 16 years,
it's not in the OVN Crosby era, pardon me, since neither one of which, now Pittsburgh's had a long streak, so technically you can just call it the Crosby era, but it's just interesting thinking that Crosby and Ovechkin are both active players and have played most of the season, some health issues, but, and Ovi missed a few games for some personal issues, of course. But point being is they are still mostly healthy with a decent supporting cast, too. It's not like they're the only players on those teams. And the fact that neither one of those players are in the playoffs. That's the East does not mind that, right? I mean, Pittsburgh or Washington can beat any of these teams in an 8-game series, or 8-game series. Maybe they need 8 games, but in a 7-game series, is it as likely? Probably not. And can the other teams do better? Sure, but who wants to go against Ovi and Crosby in the playoffs? Nobody.
Are you feeling the hype and the excitement? Because I feel like we were so spoiled back in season 1, and this whole town would have been so electric if it came down to a game like this. Are you feeling that? I'm not really feeling the buzz and the excitement.
If it was a home game, it might be a little bit different,
Okay.
if they were home tonight. And there is a buzz. I feel like the first, 50 or so games of the season, the team started hot. It was cool, right? The temperature went up a little bit, and then the injuries, the dog days of summer. How many times we hear that comment? And the snake bitten era, that was my fault. And all those other times in the middle where things were a little bit rough there. So the team started well and they ended well. And I've noticed the vibe, the atmosphere. Once the calendar, and this happened in season 1 too. Once the calendar turns March, there's definitely a little more happening. The fact that this team is, we have higher expectations now. You ask any casual fan, it's Stanley Cup or bust. It's not necessarily the right way to look at it, but the point is VGK has moved the goalposts from being lovable losers to being a Stanley Cup contender. And this team does enter the playoffs as one of the Stanley Cup contenders and one of the favorites that could/should emerge from the West to take on the best team in the East. And they can defeat any team in the East right now. So the buzz is there. It'll definitely be there on Monday come playoff time. And once they open whatever was in that wood smoking crate a few, games ago in front of T-Mobile Arena, whatever, I don't know what's going to be. And maybe that'll be, that could be a What the Friday segment and a segment all by itself. What is in that friggin' wood smoking crate in front of T-Mobile Arena right now? Like, what would that be? Can't even think what that's going to be.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is. So maybe on tomorrow's show, you could dig in a little bit more and let us know.
So excited to talk about that. It's
almost
going to cost. It's going to be on a t-shirt. It's going to be something. And, I'm trying to think of things that us against the MFN world, in the words of William Karlsson, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you a question.
Floyd Mayweather going to bounce out of there or something? Who knows? I don't know. Wayne Newton.
Not Wayne Newton, not Wayner again. I wanted to ask you a question, something that they brought up on the telecast the other night. And I was accused of having too much going on here in the house Tedasco, because I watch everything and see everything and hear everything too. Somebody on Twitter yesterday got a nice shot at me. But in any event, so they were talking about Mark Stone and where would he be slotted when he comes back? Where would you play Mark Stone? Someone on the broadcast said line 3, which I don't believe you're going to put him on line 3. I know that he could be of value if he plays nowhere else but on the power play in the bumper position. To me, that's his value.
6 minutes a game, Mark Stowaway.
So, Mark Stowaway. Seriously, though, we know his value, and they don't have that physical nature in front of the net since he went down. I will say that.
So who needs Mark Stone the most is the first question that you ask yourself. The answer, Jack Eichel and Chandler Stevenson.
Yes.
So he's going to be with one of those two. Chandler Stevenson is on the third line right now, Tony.
Yeah, but so that's the cup line. I wouldn't mess with. I like the cup line. I like that line so much.
Who do we got down there now? It's Stevenson,
Barbashev,
Kessel, Barbashev, correct?
Yeah, that's
a great line. That really is a great line. And right now, line 2 is what? Smith, Amadio, Dorofeev.
Karlsson.
Is that what it's been?
Karlsson.
How did I forget? I actually talked about Karlsson in our four-way yesterday with Edmonton, Seattle, and
did you call?
I panicked when they asked the question, who's going to be like an under the table type player that the team needs. So I just said Karlsson just for you, Tony. I did.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the shout. When is that squad?
It's out there now. I think the Seattle. I think she put it out there. It's out there. I'm tagged. Okay. We'll post it from our account. It's out there. It's on YouTube already.
Okay, we'll send that out today. So, of course, Chris was on the Squadcast with you, Edmonton, Kings, Kraken, right?
Yeah, it was a good time. I started in the villain role, right? They bring us in one by one. Everyone did their quick corny hello and stuff like that. And instead of me coming in, hi, I said hello, greetings from the top of the Pacific, and all four of them were like, "Whoa, who's this dude?" So, but it was we had a good time. And listen, I did say what I've been saying for 2 weeks now. If Edmonton continues to play this level of defensive hockey,
yeah, you're right.
This is a quote. I looked up at the Kings and said, "Kings, you're done. Seattle, you're done. Vegas, we're done. Oilers will win the cup in 18 or 19 games if this keeps going like this." I will still stick with that until Edmonton proves us otherwise. Back to the Stone conversation really fast as we wind down. Do they stack line one right now and put Eichel between Stevenson and Stone? It's a possibility. I do like that third line as is, though. I'm not going to lie to you. So maybe it's line two. Maybe it's Carlson, Smith, and Stone. That's a heck of a line that can score and also shut down on both sides. And that would be a mismatch for a lot of teams because our line one is going to be going against other, line twos, line threes, so to speak. So that would be a very tough team to score against, or tough line to score against. And it would be a tough line also to defend. So that could be a very interesting way to do it. And Cassie's been spinning this lineup the right way the entire year. So does that mean Dorofeev is out of the lineup, though?
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see Carrier back for the playoffs, correct? Carrier is coming back. He'll be back.
He hasn't even skated yet, Tony. So I have my doubts right now. Mark Stone was the end of my VGK conspiracy theories, which is definitely going to be a What the Friday. I've seen it pissed off so many VGK fans with suggesting that the Vegas Golden Knights are cooking the books a little bit and getting kinky. So I'll hold that one in for tomorrow.
All right. Hang on to that for tomorrow. Don't forget, please send us all of your comments for What the Friday. We appreciate that. For myself, Tony Cardasco, for my man, Chris Golick, for little Chris, for Jackie Aces. We thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.